37, I think. I gotta get 39. Okay, solve equations, combine like terms with parentheses. Yeah, you need to distribute when you see parentheses, whatever is directly outside the parentheses. Okay, so if it's a plus or a minus directly outside, distribute a positive 1 or a negative 1. In this case, what's outside the parentheses? Positive 3. Okay, so that 3 is going to get distributed. As you distribute that, remember when you distribute it's multiplication. 3 times x is 3x. 3 times minus 4 is minus 12 because it's a positive times a negative. Equals negative 10. What's going to be our next step? Add 12. Cancels it. Add 12 over here. Equals 2. Now, are you going to give a decimal on this, or are you going to give 2/3 for an answer? Give 2/3. Don't give me 0.6 repetitive. Okay? So on the test, keep them in fractions. Unless you start with decimals, then you'll give me a decimal answer. Any questions on that one? Distribute, solve. Try that one. Yeah, get going on your sponsors. Johnny, you too, because you're going to wrestle this year. Right? Caleb should too. He's going to wrestle too. Your dad tells you should, huh? What are you guys coming up with here? 7 1/2. Everybody else getting that? Okay, multiply gives you 4x minus 24 equals 6. Yeah, if you add 24, that's going to give you 30 on the right-hand side. Okay, keep in mind when you go and divide the 4 in, they may write this answer as x equals 15 halves. They may reduce it and keep it improper, accelerated math. On a test, yeah, always try to go to the mixed number, which would be 7 1/2. Okay, but accelerated may have it as 15 halves. And how do I go from 30/4 to 15 halves? Divide top and bottom by 2. So if they have a common factor, reduce it. Okay, usually try to reduce by 2, 3, or 5. 2, 3, or 5 doesn't go in there. You're looking for prime numbers that might go in. Go ahead and try that one. What is this zombie run dance doing?
Well, they have people dressed up as zombies. Scary. It's supposed to be like a maze.
Where's it going to be at?
I didn't think to put that on the poster.
Yeah, it says zombie run. I guess you could go to fhszombiерun.com and figure that out. Okay, everybody getting that once they distribute? 9x minus 45 minus 6x. What do we got to do on the right here before we finish solving? 9x and the 6x, what are we going to do with those? Combine them, right? What's 9 minus 6? So now simplify that down to 3x minus 45. Anytime you've got variables on the same side, you got to collect like terms, and then you can finish solving. Go ahead and add 45 to drop it off the right. Add it to the left. We're trying to get rid of everything around your 1x now. In this case, 3x, but 47 equals 3x now. And then divide by 3. I believe they'll keep it as 47 thirds, which is what is a mixed number? 15 and 2 thirds. Who had that before I got there? 3, 4, 5. Okay, any questions up to this point? Everybody good? Okay, write this one down. You can go ahead and distribute, just stop at that point. Don't try to finish solving this. Because as we distribute, we get 5x plus 15 multiplied in here equals 5 plus 5x. We have a variable on each side of the equation. Which one's smaller? They're the same. So if they're the same and you continue to solve this equation, your variables are going to drop out. Because if I minus 5x here and minus 5x here, my variables drop out. If variables drop out, look at what's left. Does 15 equal 5? Is that true or false? This is false. So if it's false, it's a no solution. Okay, there's no real number that's going to work in here. That makes sense? Kind of? Okay. You could put any number in here. Let's say we put 1 in here. What is a 1 plus 3? 4. What's 4 times 5? 20. If we put 1 there, we'd get 5 plus 5, 10. Does 20 equal 10? Okay. Any value that you put in here is not going to work. You're not going to have an equation that works. That's why it's a no solution. Okay, so if variables drop out and it's false, no solution. If your variables drop out, let's say we had 5x. Let's say we had this equation and we subtracted 5x to both sides and they dropped out. We had negative 15 equals negative 15. Okay, is that true or false? That's true. This is true. So this would be all real numbers or many solutions. Which means we can plug any value in for x and it would work. Okay? So if variables drop out and you have a true statement, all real numbers or many solutions, they drop out and it's false, no solution. So everybody understand that? All right, what's going to get distributed on this one? Negative as a -1. What can you do? You can just distribute the negative. Have you guys seen this before? Or you just make this a plus, minus, plus. If you don't want to rewrite it, you can do that. Okay, which now, if it makes more sense for you to, whoa, moving all that, aren't we? Write that as a -1 and then distribute. You can. So -1 times x, negative x. Negative times the negative gives you the +4. Okay, what do we do from here? Subtract 4. Negative x is now equal to -14. Are we done? No, we want to know what a positive x is, not a negative x. So we can divide by -1, which then would give you x equals 14. Essentially, you just change the signs on each side. But know that you're dividing by -1 or multiplying by -1. All right, write this one down. You will have calculators. You're going to get tougher decimal problems than this on your assignment. This is kind of an easier decimal problem, just to kind of show you how the decimals work. Everything still works the same. You're doing opposite operations to undo to try to solve for your x. So what's going to get distributed? 0.5 in this case. It may be a different decimal on your assignment. Okay, 0.5 times 6 is 3x. 0.5 times 0.8 is 0.4. Is that right? Equals 6.4. Okay, now look at your variable. Something's being added to it and something's being multiplied to it. What are you going to get rid of first? You're going to get rid of the addition, so we're going to minus 0.4. If I take 6.4 and I minus 0.4, I get 6. Now I can divide by 3 and get x equals 2. Okay, that one worked out nice. You're going to have ones that don't work out so nice, where they may say round 2 decimal places, which would be to the nearest hundredth, okay, or hundredths. So be aware of that. Everybody remembers how to round again, right? Try that one. Do we take a lot of notes in here? Not too bad. Yeah. Compared to other classes, yeah. Raise your hand when you got an answer on this one, guys. So you can get to it. Do my formative assessment here. Good. Good. Easier one, huh? Good. Good. Sure. Johnny football. Got it? No? Where's your equal sign? Got the equal sign? There you go. There's one step left. Just add that over. You're good. Okay, so 1 equals 6x minus 12 plus 3 minus 5x. Remember, the 6 only gets distributed to what's in the parentheses. Don't try to distribute the 6 to the 3 or the minus 5. I see students do that. If we combine these, 6 minus 5 is 1x. So we've got 1 equals 1x now. And negative 12 plus 3 is minus 9. That leaves you with one step. You just need to add the 9 to get rid of it, to get the x by itself, and x would equal 10. Most of you had 10. Okay, last one here. Write this down. We're going to kind of work it out together, because if we don't, I'm going to get a lot of questions on it, on the assignment. Okay, so what are we going to do first on this equation? We are going to distribute, and in this case it's a 0.07. So people with calculators, we got 0.03p, and we're going to distribute the 0.07. What's 0.07 times 1500? 105. And then 0.07 times a minus p would be minus 0.07 p equals 90. Yeah, we got to combine these. What do I have students do a lot on this is they'll call this 1p. They'll try to add the 0.03, or they'll call it 0.1p. 0.07 and 0.03, they try to add those together. Really what's happening, this is positive, this is negative, so this would be negative 0.04p. Does that make sense? Can you plug that into your calculator and it gives you 0.04? Yeah. Plus 105 equals 90. What's the next step? Minus the 105. We got to get everything gone from around the p, so minus the 105. 90 minus 105, what's that? Negative 15, good. And if you divide by negative 0.04, calculator people, what do we get there? $385? 375. And why is it positive? Negative divided by negative. Okay. If you ever get an answer today that you end up getting your answer and it's -2 over -3, how are you going to write your answer? Negative over a negative, even if it doesn't reduce, this is still a negative divided by a negative, so write it as a positive. So anytime you have two negatives, write it as a positive. I think that's it. Yep.